Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. I am part of a Instagram hop called Stash Busters 2024, and every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. we post our cards that we make based on the challenge given. The challenge for this week was to use washi tape and non-birthday theme stamps or dies. It needs to be a fun fold card, and they want it to be a birthday sentiment. Now, this is part of the destash theme, and I didn't necessarily destash. I mean, I did use some washi tape, but I don't have very much. But I did use some stamps that I have received and have not used yet. The stamps I used were actually the Tim Holtz Halloween Snarky Cats. Now, I love snarky cats. I love snark. So the snarky cats were perfect. So anyhow, I decided to use them and make some birthday cards. I just had to sort of change the sentiments and add one or two just to make it work for a birthday card. So this is what I did. So you saw I stamped the snarky cats that came with the set. There was 3 main snarky cats, and I'm just fussy cutting them. I don't have dies to go with it. I don't even know if there were ones. So I'm just using the cats from this Halloween set, and I did stamp also a couple of the sentiments that came along with it. We'll take a closer look at that later. Now, I did not record when I inked the background with the orange, green, and purple, but if you take a close look at it, it's pretty much of a mess. I am not a good inker, but I love the colors, so they were fun. After I inked around the edges and then blended in towards the center, I did spatter a little bit of water drops, and then I also spattered some white paint I mixed with water and some black paint. Now I'm taking my washi tape, my circle of washi tape, because we're supposed to use washi tape, don't forget. And I traced the circle. No one said you can't use the washi tape just to trace a circle, but I'm doing my best to make a balloon. I don't have a big balloon stamp. I have small ones, but I wanted a bigger one. I figured, how hard can it be? So as you see, I did my best with making some balloons, inked around it, and I'm fussy cutting that out. I did take a marker and um, add some details to it. Now I'm taking some black and white baker's twine and tying it to the balloons, cutting down the card fronts that I've so lovingly inked, and I'm also cutting down some extra white cardstock that's a little bit bigger. I'm taking my washi tape and just adding it to the 4 sides, and I cut a diagonal corner, a diagonal line on the corners, just so I have a nice edge to it. So that's what I do. So I'm using my washi tape around the perimeter of all 3 of these cards. They're all 3 different washi tapes that I use, so you'll see that later. I made a little hole in the cat, so he's holding the balloon. I put a little color on his eyes, and I'm cutting, I'm probably cussing too, but I'm cutting the words of the sentiment and putting it on. So now I have this washi tape. It's white with those crazy black circles. I put it on white cardstock, and then I put it on black cardstock. I want it to look like it's a box because I want this cat to be sitting on the box. So, and now I'm putting a hole in the cat to hold the balloon so they don't float away. And I glue that all down, including the balloon. Later, I take a couple of dots of adhesive so that string doesn't get out of the way. And I add the sentiment to that. All right, on this one, I'm going to put 2 layers of this black and white polka dot. Cut out the sentiment. I'm cutting it real close to the lettering, and it's not perfectly straight, but that's okay. And I'm gluing it on here, and then I'll eventually cut it out. But now the washi tape, so that's the 3rd way. The washi tape is going to be the background for my sentiment. So now I adhere the fronts onto a black card base. I take a fine point marker and just add a little extra hair around it because when I fussy cut the cat, some of the hair, of course, was cut off. So I'm just adding it back in, um, adding a lot of hair around the ears. I don't know why cats have hairy ears, but I guess they do. So I'm just adding hair to around the perimeter of the body. All right, now I've cut some card, the inside of the card. Since it's a black card, I want to add some white to the inside so you can write in it. So I ink around the edges, and I also cut a couple of white rectangles, and I ink around the edges. There's 12 of them, so 3 different colors, and those are the colors that I've been repeating throughout this whole process. Although this would look great in other colors. You could use like turquoise and lime green, or reds and pinks. I don't know, it would look fun with a lot of different colors. But this is the part where I do the fun fold part, which needs to be part of this challenge. So I also cut about 1.5 by 8.5 piece of black cardstock, score it in half and at a quarter. It's like 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 1/8. I don't know, but it's in quarters. And I have these small black rectangles. I put those white rectangles on it. And I have a different stamp set. It's still a Tim Holtz one, and I think it's still Snarky Cats, but it's not Halloween. And this has milk bottles on it. So I just stamp milk bottles at different angles and add these white rectangles, which are on black rectangles, to this fun fold piece. I adhere one end to the right side and then one end to the left side, but they're a little shorter. It's a little bit shorter. It's right to the end of the white, not the end of the cardstock. And then here I'm cutting the sentiment and adding it onto a piece of that green paper, just a scrap I had, just to uh, make it look a little more striking. And so there is my fun fold number 1. I do the second one the same way, but this is the third one. And I just had a 2-inch piece. I scored 1/2 inch 3 times and then cut a piece of white cardstock to match it. I'm going to fold this into sort of a cube and glue 2 parts down. I just check to make sure it's going to fit. I'll glue the 2 parts down to the top of one side and bottom of the other. And then I use my bone folder to burnish it. And I grab a little bit of fun fur that I had, plus a little leftover piece of the black and white baker's twine that I used for the balloons, and I just sort of mix it all together. So the sentiment of this card, on the front it says, "I was getting all choked up because it's your birthday," and the inside says, nope, it was just a hairball. So I take this hairball looking piece of twine thread. I'm reaching for a little piece of double-sided glue dot. I put it on the very top, scrunch that hairball all together, and put it up there. And so that is fun fold number 3. And here are all 3 cards I made. Here we can take a closer look at them. And this one says, "I meant to behave, but there were too many options, too many other options." And inside it says, "It's your birthday, period. You have options." The purple one says, "Not only does my mind wander, sometimes it walks off completely." And the inside says, "Sorry, I forgot your birthday." And then I was getting all choked up because it's your birthday. The sentiments inside and the choked up one, I just typed on a Word program and printed out because I didn't have a stamp to go with it. But there are my cards for the Stash Busters 2024 Tuesday challenge for the 27th of February. I hope you enjoyed this process. Check with me next week and see what else I make. Double check all of the other people who made the same kind of challenge cards on Instagram. Just follow the hashtag listed in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching and have a fabulous day.